This is the most critical time of, I think, our lives. It's hard to say when something of this impact, this import, this dynamic has occurred at this level, at this volume, in this form, with such furor and such production. I mean, it is beyond anything anybody has ever seen. In order to truly grasp what is happening, in order to really get to the bottom of this, it takes hours and hours of taking something which seems maybe perhaps innocuous, or something that seems like you've seen it before. Oh, this is a convention. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no. This is a convention like none other. These are debates like none other. This is an election like none other. There is no corollary to this. None. It doesn't exist. And yet, people are always trying to compare it to the 1980. No. This is not it. And it's not the Democrats. It's not liberals. It's not Joy Reid. It's something even more dangerous. It's us against this kind of an amorphous form of an enemy. Globalism, woke, radical left, who knows? But it's not the Democratic Party in any event. Who's happy today? Who's happy? Who feels like for the first time you're winning? Who feels this? Who is, you don't even know why you're smiling. You're thinking to yourself, are they going to just stop the music? Are they going to say, okay, it's a joke. It's a joke. Sorry. No, things couldn't be this good. There's got to be a reason for it. This was a big joke. This is a big con. No, in fact, you don't want to be in the position of thinking like, oh my God, I think we're really winning, because you've been fooled before. You've been hurt. You've been let down. It's all about us. Pilgrim Media is worried about me. I'm worried about you, my friends. You do realize, I hope you are also subscribed to Lionel Media. You do know that, right? Excuse me, this is not Lionel Media. Lionel Media on X is Lionel Legal. I'm so confused because I can't believe what's happening. Pilgrim, I can't believe what's happening. Just when I think I understand what's happening, I can't believe what's happening. I cannot believe this. Did the Democrats just give up? Are they planning something? Are they sandbagging us? It can't be this easy. I mean, there are these clips, these moments that I don't grasp, I don't understand. Did you see this, by the way? Did you see this beautiful moment? Let's just go through one thing.
And so it's all
okay. This is called Black America Votes. This was on BET, right? I believe it was BET. This is Joe Biden speaking to his black constituency, and he doesn't remember Lloyd Austin's name, but refers to him as the black man.
And so it's all about treating people with dignity. And
it's about treating people with dignity, and I'm going to show you how I'm treating you and African Americans with dignity.
And it's about making sure that, look, I mean, for example, look at the heat I'm getting because I named the Secretary of Defense.
Now, first of all, he's getting heat. Excuse me. He's getting heat because he named the Secretary of Defense. He's getting heat now? Lloyd Austin?
True defense, the black man.
The black man.
Named Ketanji Brown. I mean, because of the people I've named.
Nobody is he, do you recall in any particular circle him catching flack? Because maybe I've missed it. So when I see this, it's like, okay, it doesn't really matter. He doesn't remember he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember where he still thinks his son Bo died in Iraq. So the fact that he doesn't remember Lloyd Austin's name and to call him the black man on a black network that you're on to try to shore up your black votes, I'm wondering to myself, am I missing something? They can't do this. I would have said, no, he's not going to be on any show. Every time he is on, it's worse than ever. So here's my question. Are they that stupid? Are they that stupid? Do they think somehow this is winning? And before we begin, we have begun. Let me make sure you understand something which is not made clear by any network, any platform, any person. I'm sorry, it's not true. This is not about the Democrats. Let me say this again. Let me remind you of this. This is not about the Democrats. It's not about Joy Reid. We got some great stuff coming up with that. That's just fun because it's only important because this is where the shadow government is speaking directly through their proxies and mouthpieces. So that's the only reason why anybody would want to listen to them, because they represent something bigger. This is not about beating these people. It's about beating the force, the group. Sparky says, I can imagine Joe Biden shouting in dismay to his cohorts, he's still alive, like Salazzo in The Godfather. Sparky, let me ask you, or let me just say, if you believe, and I mean this, and I appreciate that, good friend, if you believe that Joe Biden had anything to do, anything, with the deliberate attempt to dispatch this president, his opponent, if you think Joe Biden had anything to do with this, you don't understand how this thing works. If you think Joe Biden ever sat back, do any of you dear, wonderful people remember this SNL take for this? It was Phil Hartman, where he played Ronald Reagan, and he says, all right, I want you to get this, and I want you to get the European sector up there. He goes, Mr. President, what is it? I'm busy. He goes, we've got some school kids. Okay, just a minute. I'll be back with you in a moment. And all of a sudden, these kids came in. He goes, hey, hello. You want some jelly beans? And he put on the Ronald Reagan act. And as soon as they leave, he goes, okay, back to business. Do you think Joe Biden snaps out of this when he goes back to the Situation Room in Wilmington? Do you think that Joe Biden, do you believe, and this is what's important, do you believe that you have evidence of an active participation on the part of Secret Service, Cheadle, or any of these other people? An active participation. Do you believe this was done specifically, that this would-be assassin, whose name I will never mention, and I wish nobody would ever mention him, do you think this person was a part of a coordinated effort? Absolutely, positively not. Aussie here, maybe. We are so in a simulation, and the programmer is imbibing too much terps. We are bizarro world, global mind virus. Let me out. Don't think that. I and we are in a fishbowl. That's all it is. Let me get to the $1 million question. Sparky says, it was the globalists. The Salazzo quote occurred to me, and I thought it was funny. It's a joke, son. No. I appreciate this. Oh, it was absolutely wonderful. In fact, speaking of which, I remember, Sparky, when Fredo was looking for the gun when they shot the Don outside of it reminded me of this Melissa McCarthy Secret Service Barbie, this little roly-poly butterball, like, what? It reminded me of Fredo. So, oh no, believe me, there was a wonderful Godfather reference too, Master Yoda. Grazie. But let me explain something, and this is important, and I want to get right to this right away because I know this is what you're going for. When you want to bring something about, when you want to really bring something about, look no further than JFK. That's an example of something. That's clearly, that was. In fact, that was so textbooky. You knew exactly what that was. That was a deliberative. That was so deliberate, but the additional participation of other forces became obviously not necessarily evident. You had to go looking for it, Jerome, as it were. Thank you. But let me remind you of something. LIHOP, MIHOP is from the conspiracist lexicon, these two acronyms. Let it happen on purpose or make it happen on purpose. I am telling you right off the bat that the easiest way to have calamity present, the easiest way, by the way, Sparky, going back to, remember when McCluskey had the Don security detail called off? When Michael shows up, and who was it? It was Amenzo, the baker. Remember that? He says, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Amenzo, the baker goes, if your father needs me," I go, "Good. Okay, stick your hand in your pocket like you got a gun. Okay, here they come." Remember that? McCluskey, Sterling Hayden. Remember that one? It's the same thing. If you want to get somebody, you either call off the security, kind of let it happen on purpose. You also make sure you from the top down, you set into play the most incompetent people. You tell Cheadle, make sure all available units. I sound like 1 Adam 12, all available units. You make sure that all available units are given priority as to the first lady, the first family, and whatever you got later on. It's the greatest way to secure all kinds of calamity. Let me say this again. Have a theory, a spirit of complete and total incompetence to take the days of the Secret Service, the image, just like we want to defund the police. It's obvious. Put incompetence in there. Now, so that's it. You're not going to find a smoking gun. You're not. So you can look for it all you want. You can come up with you can have every conceivable expert come forward and give you testimony on this show and that show. Every sniper, everybody's available, right? Everybody's talking. They're all coming out of the woodwork. This is what you should have done. Why wasn't there a drone? How come people saw him? He had he can't get on the roof. Why? Well, it was arched. Looked flat to me, but that's okay. And then there's the meme of this cow on top of a roof. And what about this? And there he is. He's walking around. And what we're doing is we're taking all this energy and we're blowing up, so to speak. It's a professional wrestling term. When I let you use all your strength to fight me, and I'm doing this normally as a shoot. What all this stuff means is if I want to show you who's the boss, I'm going to hurt you. And I'm going to make you blow up. I'm going to make you use all your energy. So if we do a full body slam or something, I'm not going to push off. I'm going to have you use brute strength so that you'll be completely depleted. That's what happens. Okay? Thank you, cut up chatter. So we're not going to find all of the effort, all of the exercise, all of the energy, all of the work, all of the discussion is being done here among us. It's not being done in the Congress. It's not being done by anybody in the Congress, and it will not be. There will never be any resolution to this. Cheadle is going to step down. Biden is going to step down. We know this. It's coming. Why they take so long, I don't know. They love chaos. They love chaos, and they also love recalcitrance. You're not going to tell us what to do. You're not going to tell us what to do. And don't keep saying DEI. Please, when they tell you don't say it, give them nothing but DEI. This wasn't DEI. What is it? Demented, excessive incompetence, or didn't earn it, whatever the particular abbreviation is. That's part of it. That's part of it. And before I forget, let us make sure one thing, my friend, that on that dais, on that platform, with the other agents, was a woman who was right there in the front. And you're not going to know her name, just like you're not going to know Melissa McCarthy's name. Who is she? Where is she? Where was she assigned? She is, I'll bet you, somebody should do a welfare check on her, because that woman, if anybody gets a hold of her, and she says, I didn't know, I told them I wasn't competent enough, but they told me specifically. Oh, what was that again? I don't know. Look, I did this. I didn't have any experience. I knew this, but they were hiring. I'm a whatever it is, and I got tattoos, and I didn't know what to do. And don't blame me. You don't think somebody's going to say, who is that? Yeah. I hope she's in protective custody. I hope you're never going to see from her again. Where is she? Where is she? And she wasn't really, she was like emblematic. She wasn't the cause of this, but she has become the singular meme. She has become the Jessica Star. Who's Jessica Star? Jessica Star, one was a woman, tragic. It was a TV anchor who I think had terrible tragedies in her life. The other one was the woman wearing, she wore like a almost like a fluorescent green jacket or something. The day of the Joe Cool, back in school. Thank you, sir. Of course I'm spot on, as are you. The day of the Trump inauguration, she was the woman out there who did, no! She became the meme from Richard Dawkins, from the word memetics, where information becomes part and parcel, almost in a quantum information packet, as it were, sent on. She became emblematic of it. And you never heard her name. Never heard from her again. Where is she? Don't know. Like that feller from Tiananmen Square, standing in front of the tanks. You're welcome. What was his name? Well, one day when you got enough chance, we're going to talk about the myth of Tiananmen Square. Sparky says a 10-year-old Boy Scout could have made that shot. Alex Jones. Boy, Sparky, I hope in regular life you don't normally write like this. DEI must die, Aussie. Would it be fun? It's like, Mommy, yeah, Grandpa gave me a birthday card. That's good. Grandpa Sparky, yes, but he wrote my name, Joey. We put a J, and then he had a space. Well, it's a long story. Why? Well, you see, Grandpa listens to this Uncle Lenny. Make a long story short, he's had some problems. Oh, I see. Okay. And that's a new code. But the reality that everybody is really not, I don't want to say missing, but what's important is simply this. I believe in memes, moments, memetics, singular motions. When little John Jr., remember John Kennedy Jr., John, they called him? When he did a little salute, remember that? That was it. That was it. That was it. When FDR died, there was a black, I think it was a Navy musician playing the accordion, and he was looking up, crying. That was it. That was it. The napalm girl in Vietnam, the summary execution of Vietnam, all of these things, these moments. But let me tell you why there is a God. First and foremost, you never know what, and Sparko and others will tell you, you never know what you're going to do unless you're put in the position. You never know what you're going to do. You don't know how you process it. You don't know, do you run? Do you react? Do you stare? Have you ever seen hostage videos where the fella, normally Brazilian, and whenever you see a Brazilian hostage video, you know they're going to take the captor out. But they bring out the hostage, and the Israeli, or the Brazilian fellow has got the gun, and the woman's face is like this. And you think that's the way they look? You don't know what people, that's terror. Terror is passivity. Terror is freezing. Terror is no affect. Terror is I'm frozen. Not, it's just like on TV when there's a shooting, people are thrown back, and it's never what you think. Never. Raul says with Trump as president will be, you got me there. This is cryptic. Rears his head, will be, well, help me with that one, folks. Thank you, Raul. George Len says the optics over the past week have been remarkable. No amount of money could buy the results that occurred. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. He's down. The mic is open. You can hear them. Everybody all right? Everybody all right? Okay, ready? And he says in his own moment, instead of just being paralyzed and just frozen by this, he forces himself up, turns to the audience, holds his fist up in this Braveheart freedom instead of fight. In fact, when he was doing formulating the F of fight, I'm thinking, I hope he's saying fight, but if he didn't, who could blame him? Wouldn't that be, it's like the old Robert Klein joke before he went nuts, when he said years ago, when he said when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon and said, today, one small step from man, he said, if I had done it, my first steps would have been Coca-Cola. He'd been set for life. But the president stands up, takes this moment, and interprets it not as, because you might say, you don't know you're hit. Reagan knew he was hit. He said, I don't know what the hell this is. You don't sit there and process the way you do. There's adrenaline. I'm thinking about this. He also had the armor on. He's got all this stuff. But he stands up and he says, the first moment, fist, and he immediately says, this is an attempt against us. The cause, the function. This is about not just me. It's not about, hey, they hit me, It's like, fight, stand up, face the crowd. He doesn't know where this is coming from. You don't sit there and do the angle and, well, it obviously came from this way. That doesn't work like that. You normally want to cower. The smart thing would be, in fact, some could argue, that was very unwise. You don't face the crowd. You get down. The first law of the jungle is self-preservation. The most dangerous animal in the world, the lion, will run from you. He doesn't bother. He will run from you unless he says, wait a minute. It's not, retreat is never cowering. Retreat is self-preservation. But he had the mental wherewithal to create the most iconic political moment in history. When Ronald Reagan, bless his heart, was hit and Jerry, whatever his name is, jumped on him, Reagan was like this. JFK, this scene. There are these others. There was a scene of the terrible picture of John Kennedy. And look at Thane Caesar, whatever. We know about Robert Kennedy. We know who that guy was. Anyway, Robert Kennedy. Did you see his face? It's a look of. It's odd. It's odd. I've seen so many crime scene photos. I've seen this. It's not what you think. But it was the most singular moment. I sound like Joe Biden. Ozzy says, hang on a minute. Ozzy says, wait a minute. Hang on. What is going on here, my friend? Let me try this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, Ozzy here says, how do we protect DJT? What's he doing to augment his social security, his Secret Service? He is. Let's see what Eric Prince says before he talks about other than flooding Gaza. Did you hear that story? Don't get me started with that one. But he's probably right now. Oh, there we go. Raul, BLM. They won't want to let you write BLM, Raul. Sparky says, heard an interview with the Butler police chief yesterday. He said the policeman climbed the roof manually and was hanging on by both hands when he saw the shooter, so he couldn't draw his pistol. Could very well be. Could very well. I mean, I no reason to believe this. Insidious says, but would all this be enough to offset the mail-in ballot constituency? Well, it's a good. See, I'm so glad you brought us back to square one with that one, and I mean that. This is all fascinating and all critical and all important, but it comes down to the notion and it comes down to the issue of how do I say this? It comes down to the issue of can something go wrong regarding the vote or the tally or what have you? Okay, and I mean nothing ethnically insensitive when I say the tally. I hope too big to rig applies. We will see. Something tells me, and I will tell you this much. If you had to bet now, okay? This is the most important thing in the world. I think right now it is going to be Trump win. They're going to switch out. I said, I sound like Dershowitz. I don't mean to say this. I said, and I said it the other day, there's no way Biden's going to do it. He's going to hold out as much as possible. They're going to either threaten him or he's just not physically going to be actually able to do this. They will claim the post-aneurysm thing. They will, who knows? There will be just a variety of reasons for his, but he'll step down either because of, I said, some strain of COVID, some aneurysm, or a fall. He's out. Trump is in. They know this. They're going to put all the money in down ballot, and they can't possibly. When you've got everybody, Van Jones's great comment. He said Trump took a bullet and Biden caught a cold. So we will see. Charles Calais says it looked more like Trump was protecting the women Secret Service agent. Could very well be. Bradley Opland says, who was George Hickey? U.S. Secret Service are and have been inept. A Sleuth says, thank you, Sleuth. Pilgrim Media says, Lionel, what can we What can we drown them in? Yes, our micturition, as it were. George says there's a clip going around in here from a Victoria Nuland saying he won't be the president. I would say that is something worth investigating. Maybe. This is we have so many suspects in this thing. Now, one thing is important. Let's look at this just for a moment to get a couple of ideas. Okay. Look at this. When Trump wins, will BLM become active? No. BLM is a place setting. It's like BLM is it's like a Civil War reenactment team. It's like a Renaissance fair. They get together, they meet en masse so that the money can be drawn, pooled in, because remember, it goes from BLM, just like with the military industrial complex and NATO, to pull the money in to feed the military, which then goes into the pockets of those individuals promoting it. Let's look at this moment, shall we? This was very good. Remember this one? This one?
Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever...
Hang on a second. I think you might have missed this one. Now, this is Joy Reid. Thank God for Joy Reid. Now, wait. Joy Reid is not only comic relief, but Joy Reid is a genius in being able to look at things and to say, nothing to see here, move on, and the like. Listen to her version as we watch Biden, who is aging, if it's even possible, more celeritously.
Elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shoot.
For some reason, now listen to what I'm saying. For some reason, Donald Trump was given 9 seconds to take an iconic photo. I mean, this is called logorrhea. There is no connection to judgment centers and what she's saying. He was given 9 seconds to take a photo of. He wasn't doing it. They were taking pictures of him during an iconic moment. But don't become upset.
Situation. Weird situation. We'll figure that out one day. But his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength.
Now, wait a minute. His bouncing back and going to the convention and not being AWOL and with PTSD, not that he wouldn't be in any way forgiven. He would be forgiven for it, certainly. But she said this with a straight face. And you listen to her only because she's reading the script from her overlords. Got it?
This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days? Doesn't that convey exactly the same thing?
He tested positive for COVID. PCR test took COVID. Remember this? Remember the story? I think it's PCR. I don't know. I've never read it. If you have one little bit of one molecule of SARS-CoV-2 or whatever the particular variant is, and it all of a sudden, boop, there it is, and you test positive for it, they say you have COVID, even though, for example, your viral load may be de minimis. We've already been through this. Or you're immune. You're immune. It just picks up the presence of it. Fascinating.
He's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age. So
Sometimes.
If he does fine out of it and comes back and is able to do rallies,
look at Jen Psaki.
Isn't that exactly the same?
I
mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not the same incident, but it's an elderly man coming through out of an illness.
It should.
It should. It should. You've got to give how she came up with that. I don't know if I could have come up with something that preposterous. Sparko says it was a combination of the Iwo Jima photo, yes, and Che Guevara photo, in that it stands out so great that people will wear the T-shirt in 50 years even without knowing the context. Right, exactly. It is the Mount Suribachi. In fact, as Old Glory or whatever furled or unfurled version of it is, it was you're right about that. Absolutely fascinating. Now, what's also interesting to note, and I bring up to your attention as well, is that did you see how they would sometimes Photoshop or remove the flag out, and how some people would say, look how the flag appears to be almost indicative of an angelic look, the particular configuration of it. Now let's go to Kimberly Cheadle. This was this wonderful event, and if I understand this correctly, she shows up at the RNC. Marsha Blackburn lays in
exactly what you were doing today on the call.
Stonewalling. Attempt. You owe the people answers. You owe President Trump answers.
Roger, take a left across this plaza.
Can you believe? First of all, am I to read this correctly? She was at the RNC. Am I missing something? She was. I would have had her nowhere for her own security. Somebody could have just gone nuts. And I'm not, listen, physical altercations, violence is not the answer. For her own good. Gwig says, X has a video of Trump arriving at the ER. Yes, very interesting indeed. And thank God for X and thank God for Elon Musk and the reactions of the people. You see, Gwig, more people love Trump than you can ever imagine. Ozzy here says, Elon Musk, $45 million a month will help with combating mail and ballot harvesting. It certainly will. It certainly will. I think so. Evan Webb says, censorshipy is on high. Well, that's the way that goes. And your ability, may I say, to negotiate it is another story. Now, one more thing, and I found this interesting. Van Jones. Oh, I could give you. Listen, we could have a super duper, like, we have to go on code tactical. We have to the Van Jones backstory. Oh my God, that's another one. But listen to what Mr. Jones said, and this is one of the biggies. Okay, this is one of the biggies.
A bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden.
A bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden.
You got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together.
This is a very important thing. This was a high-level operative, an apparatchik for the globalist shadow government. Why is he saying this? Fascinating. Sparky says, Butler police chief said that they were at the event to manage traffic, and the Secret Service never even met with them, much less integrate them into event security. He was pissed. Cheadle blamed them. Oh, yes. In fact, what they need to do is, Sparky, and thank you, you're going to be seeing some interesting things. Let me stop before I forget. I just have to say this. There are rarely some moments, for the most part, these conventions, I mean, they're nice, The 98-year-old veteran was just incredible. The mothers who lost their children to fentanyl, the 13 parents was incredible. But the one that really, really, really was the most interesting, that nobody's paying enough attention to, is the 17-year-old granddaughter, Kai Trump. For some reason, now let me also give you a thing too. A little heads up. We're going to be this is going to be extended coverage today. I'm not even close to this. So we're going to meet again at noon, just to keep you posted. Always stay tuned. Always subscribe to Lionel Nation. Keep doing this. Lionel Nation, Lionel Legal, Lynn's Warriors. This is the trifecta. She did something. Something happened last night, which was fascinating. Another thing, I don't know if you noticed, because Fox was the only one worth watching. Did you see what happened when Kimberly Guilfoyle, Don Jr.'s fiance, walked out and they cut? It was the fastest thing. I said, oh, it's gone. I thought, that was weird. It was almost deliberate. She used to work with, I don't know what that was about. They had everybody else. And now a guy from Pennsylvania, anybody was talking today. I consider myself, and I think, who is he? I don't know. No, they had people on. I still don't know why. But Kimberly Guilfoyle, gone. Don't want her. Now, isn't that interesting? People said, hey, who's that? How many kids does Don Jr. have? 5. Who's that? What a lovely young lady. Who's that? That's Kai Trump? Yeah. Who's that's? Oh, that's Don Jr.'s daughter? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, what a nice family. Oh, they're divorced? What? You think I'm kidding? I know you think I'm kidding. Well, they're divorced? Well, why? I don't know. Well, who's that woman? Well, that's his fiance. His fiance? Wait a minute. I thought that was his wife. That's not his wife. That's the Lauren Sanchez looking one? That's not his wife? Who's that? That's Kimberly Guilfoyle. Who's that? And here's the thing. Remember this. And the reason why the Dems are not going to touch her. She was married to Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is definitely 2028. You're not going to be seeing Gavin now. They're going to keep their powder dry. The time they had for Gavin was before. This thing was too late. He's 2028 guaranteed, unless, but with these people judgment, they're not going to touch her because she can destroy him. If he destroys her, so what? She's not related. She's just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Let me say this again. This is a person, she has debriefed the Trump intel teams to the point where she probably says, I can't talk about it anymore. They know every event, every motion. And they're probably negotiating with the Gettys to find out, did they have any stuff going on? Any films, any pictures, because everybody's got pictures today. Just remember what I said, put that aside. But this Kai was fantastic. And more in particular, Arizona says, have you seen the Ugandan boys reenacting the rally incident? Yeah, I did. Thank you, Arizona. Appreciate that. George Len says, I find the left's ineptitude and posturing quenching. Oh, I love it. You don't understand. I think it's great. Evan Webb says, we must not be complacent. Get out and vote. Will this even post? Yes, it did. Of course it will. Of course it will. Aussie here says, Water Tower, second shooter, to be continued. We'll see. I'm going to say this again to you, dear friends. I'm going to say this again to you. Listen to me. This is going nowhere. Enjoy all of your discussion, all of your talk, all of your, the police chief said this, retired Secret Service person said this. I've got my cop friends are showing me things left and right where they're coming along. Oh, look at this. You had to do that. You had to make me sick. Hunter and Kushner. Yeah, Jared. Sparko, I don't even want to get into this. Was there any conspicuous Israeli what do I say? Has there been any conspicuous Israeli Palestinian protesting? If there was, I didn't see anything. In December, it's another story. Remember this. In December, it's a whole nother story because there's 32 days until the convention. Remember that. 32 days. 32 days. And as far as let me see, 100 and we'll figure the one out. Anyway, enough of that. Before I forget, because remember, I don't think anybody's really talking about that. You see, how do I say this? I was talking to somebody the other day on these foreign types, and I said, you don't understand. America right now doesn't care anything about Ukraine or anything for that matter. It's just not interesting. It's not interesting. Aussie here, Wackel says, Cheetos, Kamala, 24. Kamala Harris, as you know, is done. Let's just get this. Let's just get this through, okay? She is done. Now, if all of a sudden I have my conference call on Thursday, if all of a sudden you hear the ding, 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 this, whatever, I'm going to have to break away. Coming up towards the top of the hour, we're going to reconvene at noon. We're going to be doing this extended coverage because I'm not even close to even hitting all of the layers of this. The Democratic Party does not know what happened. The donors, the big shots, the hedge funders, Hollywood, even George Clooney and Rosie O'Donnell, Adam Schiff, they're done. They don't know what to do. Can't figure it out. You might have thought this yourself. Maybe you did. I keep asking myself, could they be that stupid? Could they be that incredibly stupid? And what I mean by that, and this is very, very important, could they be that stupid to let all of this just collapse before their eyes? Could they be so stupid as to have no plan, no bench, no nothing? Could they be? Now, let me say this again, dear friend, because that's what people are saying. How can the greatest, this is the biggest, this is a party, by the way. This is a party that has such deep pockets at every level you can imagine. And we're not talking just Soros and, Schwab and others. Remember something. If you know the name of the person, he's not involved. Charlie, in fact, JD Vance, by the way, Charlie, remember, that's what we're going to pick up later on. I haven't even gotten to him. JD Vance is better than anything I ever thought. Ever. You could not have asked for a better story when his mother stood up. 10 years sober. Oh my God. Okay. That's not going to last, but that was great. Because remember something. What is the purpose? Listen to me and listen carefully. Who was the audience of the convention last night? Tell me, dear friends. Who was the audience for? Who? Sparko says, Bibi may have to cancel his visit so as not to draw attention back to their conflict. Yes, but more importantly, Sparky, he doesn't want to do anything where his benefactor is this befuddled coot, which derivatively makes the cause seem less than important or less than critical because of the fact that this guy endorses it. And also, and listen to me carefully, watch very carefully how Trump and his teams are assessing Israel and Ukraine. Remember what J.D. Vance says. He is basically an isolationist. But going back to J.D., this is if it matters, it's a story that it's important, but it's not gonna, people aren't gonna vote. It's just a good story. He might be one of the most interesting vice presidential candidates ever, other than Geraldine Ferraro, who was a woman. First one. There's nothing about him that is, people will try their best. Pilgrim likes the seersucker suit. Well, that's all that matters, Pilgrim. Thank you, my friend, my sartorial friend. He is going to be the transformational in terms of what he does, to be able to narrow, to help, to hone. I like when people say to hone in, it's home in, but to hone, to smooth out the edges and the surfaces of the message. Very, very critical. Very, very critical. Very, very absolutely critical. Incredibly, monumentally, positively critical in terms of what he's able to do. His message. It means a lot. Absolutely means tremendously a lot. But the question is, who is this for? Who is this for? Who is this? Who is this for? What is the purpose? To galvanize the Republican Party? They were already galvanized. To lay out. This is for something more important. Kamala says has committed to a debate. Well, Insidious, I'm going to be calling my physician and having anxiolytics called into the pharmacy, because I will be so affected by this paroxysmal chortling and cachinnation that because I will be laughing or in stultified horror. I cannot wait for that. Not to mention the next Biden-Trump debate. Remember, that's not done yet either. Sparky says, we're skeptical of J.D. Vance, but the right people hate him, giving me the confidence in him. Absolutely. You know, it's funny, Sparky, that it doesn't matter who the person is, people are going to hate him. If ever you want to meet a weird group of people, read the folks from National Review. They're like the snooty conservatives like George Will, you know. They're the, I don't care. Look, this is, I saw the same thing with country music. That's not country music. Well, that's not, that's not hillbilly enough for me. Oh, would you shut up? People love it. Just don't worry about whether it falls under the classic rubric of conservatism and the like. I think he's terrific. As far as his wife goes, what I do not like is the fact that he is one of these Yaleys. I hear anything involving Ivy League today, and maybe especially today, and I run the other way. Christian Jenner says Vance has enough Senate experience to be its president and hasn't been tainted by it. Yes, it's a very good point, and would be able to help negotiate, because Trump needs that Jim Baker. He needs that Jim Baker to help him negotiate Congress, which is so important, so critical. All right, dear friends. So let me do this to everyone. Sit tight. We are winning at levels I'm not even done yet. I haven't even scraped the surface. We're going to reconvene at noon. Make sure you subscribe to Lionel Nation. Make sure you always stay subscribed. Also, Lionel Legal and Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. We need and she needs your support. Let me tell you something. This may surprise you, and I cannot figure this one out, but I'm going to tell you nonetheless. There are people who despise what she's doing, because there are people in this country who are, I swear to you, pro-trafficking. They are how do I say this? They are pro-trafficking, and they are for lack of a better word, pro-victimization of children. I know you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's crazy. It's not crazy at all. It's not crazy. You have no idea. When she puts up something and she says, these are some wonderful efforts. She does a wonderful interview. By the way, this is at Lynn's Warriors. Follow her. Do me a favor. She did one of the best. We had no idea what the Salvation Army is doing. They're incredible. Incredible. And it's like there are bots and there are deliberate, concatenated, I should say, almost choreographed negative scrums that just move in because they're actually promoting child predation. It boggles the mind. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, no, I can't be. I thought the same thing. So give her a follow. Her word is to run is great. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. And don't forget Lionel Nation. My friends, I'm going to just remind you of something. We are winning magnificently. I've told you before, not proudly, not boastfully, not in any way derisively or rudely, but I've never been a person of faith. I'm kind of irreligious. But if you told me right now that there was the hand of God or whatever iteration of this is that protected this president in this kind of a matrix, I would say, you know what? I think you're onto something. Sparky says J.D. Vance was set up to be Hillbilly Obama with a book and backstory, but he learned over time that his sponsors were evil and full mirrored. His connection gives us pause. It's interesting. I like the idea. Remember, we're also seeing this new. Did you happen to see? Oh, there we go. My friends, I'm sorry. I must run. Have a great and a glorious day. Until noon. I hate this. Remember, Monkey's Dead show's over. See you at noon.